A group of friends is having fun at sea. The girls are water skiing while the men take pictures of them. Suddenly, a monstrous shark attacks the girls. Not understanding what happened, the young people ask their friend to return the boat to rescue the girls. When they come back, they find blood in the water and are terrified. They try to escape, but the shark pursues them, and in a fierce attack, it capsizes the boat and begins to devour the men. After some time, a group of students is on their way to a field trip in the Solomon Islands. Professor Peter is in charge of the class and tries to give a lesson, but the students show little interest and prefer to enjoy the trip. A few hours later, while they are having fun, they hear a loud crash. Anxious, they wonder what it could be. When a few girls go to investigate, they scream in panic upon discovering a massive shark stuck in the hull of the boat. All the students gather to understand the situation and begin to speculate about the creature. A student named Pole mentions that it is a megamouth shark, which is extremely rare to see, but points out that something is not right, as these sharks usually inhabit waters below 40 meters, raising concerns among them. Peter decides that he needs to study this rare specimen and uses a stick in an attempt to capture it. His wife, Anne, appears worried and questions her husband about his intentions, asking him to release the animal. Peter refuses, claiming that the shark could get caught in the propellers, which could damage the boat. However, he is unable to hold it, and as he feared, the shark ends up getting entangled in the propellers, causing the boat to shake violently. The blood attracts the mutant shark, which soon devours the other creature. Captain Laura's assistants inform her that the hull of the boat has sustained severe damage and is compromised. Concerned for the students, Laura tries to communicate with the U.S. Navy, but after the attacks by the mutant creature, the signal antenna is damaged, and the radio stops working, leaving her even more anxious. Meanwhile, Anne checks to see if everyone is okay. Laura warns Peter about the water that is entering the boat, and comments that her assistants are already working on the buoys. With the news of the water, the students become alarmed, worrying that they are sinking. Peter calms them down, assuring that he will resolve the situation, and asking for everyone's cooperation. Laura informs them that she can fix the boat, but it will take a day at sea. At that moment, Kate points out an island nearby, and Peter asks if she can resolve the problem in shallow waters. Laura replies that she can, and that it will be quicker. They approach the island, but Laura warns that they are in shallow waters and cannot proceed further. Peter reassures them, saying they are close enough to use the dinghy to transport the students while she makes repairs on the boat. Despite Anne's disagreement, Peter insists they need to act as the water keeps entering. Laura agrees that he is right, since they don't know what they'll find down there. The students head to the island to look for metal, with Peter responsible for them and Anne staying to help Laura. Upon reaching the shore, they find a massive dead whale. While some students joke about the situation, others worry about the strange things. Puyol suggests it was a group attack by sharks, scaring the girls even more. Peter asks them to calm down and orders everyone to search for scrap metal around the island. Laura works on repairing the hull of the boat and doesn't notice the huge shark approaching. While everyone is busy, Anne takes the opportunity to relax and does not realize the danger coming. Suddenly, Laura is attacked on the leg by the mutant shark. She escapes momentarily and tries to return to the surface, but is caught and torn apart by the creature. On the island, the group finds some buildings and begins to search for anyone, but receive no answers. Peter remarks that they could just be fishermen who visit the island once a year. While everyone is having fun with the objects in the huts, the professor asks them to spread out nearby in search of metal. They separate, and a young man decides to follow two friends, inviting them to swim in the sea. They mention that the professor did not allow it, but he insists that he won't notice. They agree and soon reach the beach. The trio finds everything beautiful, and the young man invites them to get in the water. As they undress and enter the water, the mutant shark approaches slowly. The trio draws closer, and the girls kiss each other, inviting the young man to join. He agrees, but soon realizes something is approaching and begins to worry, but they urge him to keep kissing them. However, everything changes when the shark approaches. The girl feels a strange chill, and suddenly both start bleeding and acting strangely. The young man panics as they sink. Scared, he tries to escape, but is captured by the monster and quickly devoured. On the boat, so far, no one has noticed that Laura has disappeared. Meanwhile, in the cabin, the U.S. Navy tries to establish communication, but as they receive no response, they end their attempts. On the island, most of the groups have returned, and only the trio is missing, but no one notices their absence and decides to continue the search. They find a new hut full of items, and Diana spots 2 motorboats. Kate and the others run to see if the boats are operational, while the young people play with the objects they found in the hut. Linda examines the things inside the hut until she finds a weapon and decides to take it, hiding it in her backpack. Peter and Cole approach, and Kate informs them that the boats are not operational, but says she can repair them. She expresses doubt about whether it's worth fixing them since there are only 2 and they won't fit everyone. Peter retorts that 2 boats are better than none. She then asks Paul for help to repair the boats, and he is happy to assist. At that moment, the gigantic shark hits the island, causing tremors, and everyone feels the quake. Peter ends up falling and injures his leg. Everyone rushes to help him and decides to take him back to the boat. While the boys carry Peter, the rest of the group waits. They are surprised by strong tremors and begin to wonder what is happening during this trip. Linda panics, and Kate tells her to calm down, but Linda does not. With no options, Kate slaps her. Furious, Linda leaves the location, and her friend Lisa confronts Kate about her attitude, deciding to go after Linda. Paul also chimes in, saying that Linda has the right to be upset. However, Kate shows no interest and asks to return to the boats. The students wave from the boat, asking for help from Anne, while Laura's assistants notice her absence and go to investigate. When they grab the oxygen hose, they see a lot of blood in the water. Pulling it, they discover it is torn, increasing their concern for Laura. However, their attention is diverted by the students bringing Peter back. Anne asks what happened, and they explain that he fell when the island shook. Anne, looking confused, inquires what they are talking about, and a young man questions if she didn't feel anything. She says no and asks them to take Peter inside. Anne tells Peter that he should have listened to her, and Peter jokes that he really should have. She offers to bandage him, but warns that he needs to go to the hospital immediately. Peter refuses to leave the trip and asks Laura to go to the Solomon Islands. An assistant tries to alert about the hose and the blood in the water, but is not heard. Anne instructs the boys to return to the island, as it is still not safe. During the trip, they find something in the sea and decide to investigate. As they get closer, they realize it is a human hand, but soon a mega shark appears and attacks one of them. The couple, watching from a distance, is horrified. They fall into the water, and the shark rips off one of the guy's arms, giving them the chance to get closer to the boat. Despite trying to swim, they are attacked and devoured by the creature while Peter and Anne watch in shock. Back with the young people, Cole asks Kate if the boats are ready. She answers yes, but they need fuel. Surprisingly, Cole informs that he found gasoline in one of the huts. They quickly refuel the boats, and Cole starts the engine, deciding to go ahead with his team, leaving Kate and the others behind. However, Kate manages to start the other boat and decides to follow them. Peter realizes that the island is sinking and begins to worry about the students, asking Anne to hurry. Meanwhile, the young people decide to have a boat race with the mega shark approaching. Anne tries to warn them of the danger, but is not heard. Cole proposes a bet to Kate. Whoever reaches the King of the Seas first will win a prize, and she accepts. The race begins, and Cole takes the lead with his team while being watched by the other students on the island, who are happy, believing they will receive punishment for disobedience. Kate, making a swift move, manages to overtake them. The megashark reappears and begins to chase Cole's boat while Peter tries to warn them of the danger. Anne uses a flare to alert them, and concern grows among them. The mutant shark collides with the boat, trying to capsize it, and succeeds in knocking Ryan into the water. Cole chooses not to return to rescue him. Ryan begins to panic as he feels something passing near him. In an instant, the creature attacks him, biting one of his legs, and everyone is alarmed upon seeing the blood. The mega shark quickly throws Ryan into the air, and in a brutal action, devours the young man's body, while everyone watches horrified. Next, its focus swiftly changes to Cole's boat. Kate decides to turn off her boat's engine and questions why it is after the others. Diana says it doesn't matter, as that monster has 2 heads with huge teeth. Paul comments that this is scary, but not unusual, as there have been records of animals with 2 heads. However, they rarely survive long in nature. He explains that the shark is following Cole's boat, because the larger engine emits electrical signals and vibrations that the animal can detect, and this may be making it angry. In a selfish attempt to save himself, Cole decides to abandon the boat, jumps into the water, and starts swimming away. Kate informs the others that they will rescue their friend. Meanwhile, the mutant shark attacks the other boat and manages to knock down the crew. The two are left adrift with no escape option and end up being reached by the shark. They are brutally killed while the rest of the group watches, powerless to do anything. Again, the shark's focus shifts to Cole, but Kate manages to arrive in time, and he grabs onto a rope tied to the boat, and they barely escape the creature. On solid ground, Kate advances on Cole and punches him for abandoning everyone to die. Peter and Anne manage to reach the island and quickly run to meet the students. Peter informs the students that Laura did not survive, and now they are on their own. Cole approaches Anne and asks about his friends, but she informs him that they did not survive. He cries upon hearing this news, and Kate approaches angrily, recalling the other deaths that were caused by him. They begin to wonder who else is missing, and soon realize the absence of the previous trio. Linda questions who will fix the boat, now that Laura is dead. Peter informs that the pumps are draining the water, but there is still a hole in the hull, making it dangerous to enter the water now. Lisa asks if the radios work. Peter replies that the antenna broke, causing Linda to panic again. The professor mentions that he has another means of communication. His boat is equipped with an emergency transmitter that, when activated, sends out a distress signal. Impatient, Linda urges him to do this urgently, but he explains that it will be necessary to destroy it for it to work. He adds that they will need to remove the supplies from the boat, which will take time since it will require several trips. Paul disagrees, stating that the creature has double the size of a normal shark and can detect any electromagnetic field nearby. Peter says he sees no other way, and at that moment, another earthquake hits the island. Lisa asks why earthquakes are happening there. Paul explains that this place is not an ordinary island, but an atoll that may be sinking. Everyone begins to question how this is possible. Peter then explains that atolls are formed by coral reefs, and that one is likely damaged or weakened. Diana says it would be better to fix the boat, and Linda refuses to help with anything as she is very scared. Paul says they just need to distract the shark while they fix the boat. Irritated, Cole asks if he has any plan, and he points to a generator, saying they can use it to attract that creature. However, he mentions that the generator is broken and needs repairs. A girl offers to try to fix it and asks why. Paul explains that they will install metal bars connected to the generator. When everything is ready and the generator is turned on, electricity will spread through the water, disorienting the shark and attracting it away. This will buy time for the others to fix the boat. The girl from before observes that they will still need someone to weld the boat and asks who can do it. Kate offers, mentioning that her father works with metal and that she learned some skills. Peter hesitates to ask this of her, but Kate asserts that she is not asking, but offering. With the plan set, they spring into action. Paul explains that first they need to place the grid in the water and position the iron bars in a straight line. Then they must tie wires to each bar and connect the ends. Finally, they just need to grab the generator cables and connect them at any point on the structure. While Kate goes with Cole to the King of the Seas, Paul and the others work to complete the plan, awaiting the shark's arrival. Eventually, they spot the creature and alert Kate to leave with Cole. On the boat, Kate prepares to dive, and Cole asks if she has done this before. She replies that she hasn't. This makes Cole worry, who questions if she really wants to do this. She asks him not to ask questions he is not ready to hear the answer to. Before she jumps, she warns that she will bang on the boat when she is done. Kate dives and begins to weld, while the rest of the group anxiously waits as the shark is agitated. Noting strange movement, Peter orders everyone to run before they are caught by the creature. The mutant hits the generator, destroying it and knocking down the two assistants, killing them. Its focus quickly turns to Kate, and Cole, who is in the cabin, decides to betray them and begins to steer the boat away. Kate quickly returns to the group and informs them about Cole's betrayal. Cole tries to escape, but the huge shark attacks the boat, opening a new hole in the hull and causing it to start sinking. Before this, he tries to send a distress signal, but with no response, decides to grab a lifeboat to save himself. However, he can't go very far, as he is soon attacked and devoured by the creature. Meanwhile, the atoll continues to sink, and Peter asks everyone to retreat deeper into the woods. Soon, everyone moves away from the beach, and Diana and another girl stray from the rest of the group, heading toward another end of the island. The tremors stop, and they celebrate thinking they are safe, but suddenly the megashark reappears, and with a leap, kills them. Anne and Peter end up separating from the rest of the group as the ground begins to crack, forcing them to divert. Upon reaching a point on the island, they notice a giant wave. Peter says he is sorry and kisses her before being killed by the creature. The island is completely devastated, and the students manage to escape to the sea, but are quickly spotted by the mutant. They decide to hide in the old chapel, and they are terrified. Kate asks everyone to be patient, as the monster cannot get in. Suddenly, it appears, breaking the walls, and begins to attack everyone, who protect themselves by climbing on objects or moving to the corners. In an attempt to defend, a young man tries to attack it with a stick, while Linda uses a weapon she found earlier. However, nothing works, and the girls are brutally killed by the shark. The boy asks them to go ahead while he distracts the creature. They obey and quickly leave that place while the young man is also killed. Now, only Kate, Poole, and another girl manage to escape. Kate asks what they will do, but no one responds as it is impossible to flee from that creature. At that moment, they spot a floating gas barrel, and the girl grabs it, asking if Poole can make it explode to eliminate the creature. She shows a lighter, but Poole observes that they will need a type of fuse, as he can't risk approaching the shark or the explosion. She asks Poole for his shirt and suggests using it as a fuse, stating that someone will have to lure the shark and ignite the barrel. She offers to do it, but Kate, tired of everything, says she will do it. She expresses that she is exhausted from running away and does not want to die like this. Kate begins to swim away and makes a cut on her hand to attract the shark while Poole and the girl try to ignite the barrel. However, they have difficulties as the cloth is soaked. The monster approaches Kate quickly and soon attacks her, but she manages to wound the creature with a blade, staying between the two heads. The girl steps away from Poole and begins to attract the beast's attention. The shark chases her, and before it can catch her, she dives with the barrel, causing the monster to swallow it in the process. It starts heading toward the two, but midway the barrel explodes, although this is not enough to kill it. They find the earlier boat, and Poole says they can use it to escape, but Kate disagrees. She argues that the boat might attract the shark away, and soon starts it, letting it move forward to lure the monster. The mutant begins to chase the boat as the two head towards solid ground. As soon as the shark reaches the boat, it explodes, destroying the creature definitively. The two celebrate their victory, and soon hear the sound of a helicopter, managing to be rescued.